Hi everyone, it's Miss Craig. I hope you are all well. This is the Try It section for lesson 2 for the week of April 20th to the 24th, which is more on circles in the coordinate plane with focus on completing the square in order to get our equation and then graph it. We're going to just go over a few of the select problems from our Try It page. So if you have not yet done the problems, go ahead, pause the video, try example 1 on your own using our information from the Learn About It page, then on pause to go over it. So remember, when our equation for a circle is not in that quantity of x minus h quantity squared plus the quantity of y minus k quantity squared equals r squared, we have to use a technique called completing the square in order to get it into that form. So to start with, we group our x values together. We're going to say plus and leave a little blank. And then we're going to keep our y values together. Again, put plus in a blank equals 0. And then we use that process of completing the square. So when we're completing the square, we take our second term and we kind of think of it as negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and then we square it, and that gives us 9. So it's 9 that we are going to add to both sides. And then we use that same process on the y side. We take that, what would be the center term, divided by 2. So we would think of that as 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then we square it, which gives us 16. Then we would add 16 to both sides. Now we'd be able to factor. So when you do the factoring, it's always going to be x. Whatever that term was that you got when you divide it becomes our, in this case, 8. So it's going to be x minus 3 quantity squared. Plus, we're going to do the same thing on the y side. We're going to have y, again, the number we got when we did completing the square. So it's going to be y plus 4 quantity squared equals, and then we add everything on the other side. So 0 plus 9 plus 16 is 25. And now we can use our h, our k, and our r squared. So my center would be 3, negative 4. Remember, since it's in the form x minus h and x minus k, we kind of think of it as the opposite. To get our radius, r squared is equal to 25. So to find the radius, we would take the square root of both sides. So radius would be equal to 5. So then we're going to try practice number 2. So again, if you have not done it yet, go ahead, pause the video, try it yourself, then on pause when you're ready to go over it. So again, since we're not in that equation form for a circle, we have to use completing the square. So again, we're going to start with x squared plus 10x plus, leave our blank. And then for our y, same thing, y squared minus 2y plus blank is equal to 38. And now we can do the completing the square process. So we take what will be our center term divided by 2. So we would take 10 divided by 2 is 5. Square it is equal to 25. So that means we're adding 25 to both sides. We do the same thing on our y side. So we take what will be our middle term, divide by 2. So we would take negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Square it is 1. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. And now we can rewrite it in that factored form with the completing of the square. We're going to take x. Remember, whatever you got as your result when you did the dividing becomes r, in this case h, so x plus 5 quantity squared, plus, same putting on the y side, whatever we got when we did our dividing becomes your k. So y minus 1 quantity squared equals. Then if we take 38 plus 25 plus 1, we get 64. So now we are able to get our h, our k, and our r squared from our equation of a circle formula. So when we do the center, our center is at h comma k, so it's going to be -5, 1. Remember, since it's actually subtracting, we kind of think of it as the opposite. But when we do our radius, r squared is equal to 64. So to find the radius, we would take the square root of both sides, and we get the radius is equal to. You're going to go ahead and complete the practice. Remember, the answers for all of the practices in the attachment down at the bottom. If you're in Miss Thomas's and my class, you're going to do activity 2 to practice solving equations. Once you've done the practice, you're going to go ahead onto the Show What You Know assessment. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon.